Hi, everybody. David Donaldson here, along riding shotgun with Joe Martin and today's esteemed guest, Marlena McWilliams. Marlena, how are you doing today? Very excited to have you with Joe and I.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. As I told Joe just a minute ago, I'm stupendous. I'm doing fantastically well today. So I'm so glad to be here with you guys.
I love that. Stupendous. Bringing the energy.
Yes.
Well, listen,
Of course, always.
we always have an amazing cast of personalities and interests that join us on the episode. And it's always really great for our listeners to kind of hear the journey, the story, because everybody has one, right? And what I want to start with you is it's kind of give us a breakdown of, who's Marlena and where does she come from and what possessed you to become an entrepreneur?
Yeah. Well, on the joking side, I am a fat, slim girl. So what really made me want to get an entrepreneur is to be able to buy whatever food I wanted to eat. Okay. That was it. I was like, I want to make money so I can eat whatever I want to eat when I want to eat and stay thin, skinny. Right. So that's truly who I am. I am a foodie. I love to eat all types of foods and experience it. But I am a small town girl, believe it or not. People won't believe Denver, Colorado is where I am from. My mother's family is about 4 generations in there. And even though now it's turning into a major city, where I grew up, it was a cow and buggy town. So we had one elementary, one middle school, one high school. And as I grew up there, I started to wonder about the world. My mother got me involved in things very early in life, where I was fortunate to get my first job in high school with Kraft and Nabisco. And I learned about logistics and setting up trucks. And my favorite thing then, again, going back to my slim, fat girl life, is they would give me boxes of the cookies and Ritz crackers and everything out of the warehouse once a month. You could go get a big box, as much as you could carry and take out of there. I really enjoyed that.
Vanilla wafers are a way to my heart. I just want to say, because
right?
Nabisco used to have a major production facility in Philadelphia, and you could smell it for miles around. Right? That just takes me back.
Yes, me and my mother love vanilla wafers too, David. So she would put her request in. It was so much stuff. I used to send a smaller box to my sister and them of stuff I would take out of the warehouse. It was a perk. So really enjoyed that. Yeah, it was. That's why I stayed there. I stayed there till I graduated. I was like, this is awesome. So then I got out and I started realizing the world and thinking about what I wanted to do. So I got into finance and economics because I had determined that no matter what I did in life, if I didn't know how to handle money, what good was it to me if I just only knew how to make it? So I did that in undergrad, and then I got into government contracting and landed an awesome position as an FLDP, which is a finance leadership development program within Lockheed Martin here in the Washington metro area. I got to do some really cool and amazing things with them. I traveled around to Australia, and I lived in the United Kingdom for a year and a half, doing financial analyst and cost analysis for them. Won the top cost estimating award there, because anything I do, I try to go at 100 miles per hour. I like to try to be one of the best always. And then I got recruited by another company that I did a project for through them, and really got into parametric estimation. And then I got into sales.
We're going to have to time out. Time out. Joe doesn't know what that means.
That's a very complicated word.
Joe doesn't know what that means. You're going to have to break that down for Joe.
Yeah, so parametric estimation is basically using math calculations at the lowest level to estimate based off of history and data that we've collected on how something, when you manufacture it, it's going to cost to build it. So we did it for airplanes. It is actually a complete science based off of history of parts. And we take the data. Yes, Joe. Yes.
So you said airplanes. Are you somehow involved with Boeing and their challenges with ordering and logistics? I mean, I had to go there.
No. Great question, though. It could have been me. But yeah, so we did that. Then I went and worked for DHS, right, for the Department of Homeland Security at a federally funded and research development company. Bunch of big eggnog people, physicists with PhDs that like to do theories and analysis. And that was fun. I learned a ton there about doing analysis of alternatives. So as you can see, I had a lengthy career in government contracting, doing things and unheard of things that people wouldn't imagine that you would do. And then I started dabbling in real estate by investing. And in DHS, as well as the smaller company Price Systems, which is actually located in New Jersey, I learned about sales because I would go around and sell our parametric estimation tool as the engineer with a sales representative. And I often found sometimes that I was better at selling it because I had that part in me, even though I knew the technical side. So as I started to dabble in real estate, to be honest with you guys, I lost my shirt. I was a lazy investor. Had a lot of cash from doing some penny stock trading that I learned from a friend early on. And I took it and gave it to these guys. And they said, yes, we'll take your money. And they went and totally tanked this development project. And so I got serious about real estate then. I never wanted to be in that position again. And so I decided to get licensed. And I was part-time. And then after being a part-time realtor, I realized this is what I really wanted to do. I could actually make an impact in people's everyday lives where I could physically see it, feel it, and touch it. Plus, I had a son, and I wanted to build a legacy for him beyond myself. So I'm a mompreneur, and I decided to go full thread in real estate as a full-time realtor. Went to a couple different brokerages, but landed at home here, and now building my team. So that's my quick story. Lots of stuff in there.
I love that. And I appreciate the cool thing is I can tell through your passion and energy that you have now that you really enjoyed what you did back then.
Right? I did.
Like you just express it like in a very excitable tone that makes math sound fun.
Yeah, it did. But most people are like, yeah, math, just math. No, I don't want to talk about that. But I was really geeked about that, and I really enjoyed it and learned some really cool things along the way. So yeah, I'm really on my son on math now too. His test scores in math, I'm like, we have to be up here. So
I'm working on that on my son too. No, it must be in the, it's always the kids, right? So it was never. It was good for me. I skipped a grade in math. What's your problem? No, I get it. There's a big difference. I mean, I look at everything you've done, like, here's what's kind of cool. There's an amazing foundational mind of business in what you've done. But at the same time, and what I'm hearing you say, you were incredibly structured and organized and came from a world that everything was like, you were good, you knew where it was coming from. The math told a story, so you understood that. There's a big change from being a driver in that world to then stepping over to the side and going, I understand what I need to do, but I need to do it for me now. What was that like?
Whew, it was a big transition for me, David. I'm not going to lie to you. I'll tell the truth. The company, when I left, they wanted to use my name in bidding proposals. So I kind of took a little sabbatical. I laid around for months and kind of sold homes here and there and enjoyed that time. And then I started saying, okay, you have to continue to make money. You're too young to just be sitting here. You can only live off this for so long. And so then I realized that I really did need a schedule. And I couldn't just flounder out in time and, be a beach babe, which is what I really wanted to be.
You're striking all the right chords with me. Foodie, beaches, like I'm good, investing.
Yeah, it's all I wanted to do. So then I was like, okay, so how am I going to do this? So then I started to getting structured. I started talking to this realtor who was looking for somebody, and true story, I kind of worked for him for almost a year, doing whatever he told me to do. And that just kind of took my knowledge to another level. And it also helped me realize his structure of how he had his day as a single agent, top agent, and what he was doing on a day-to-day to build his business. Now, I'm not going to lie. I was viva la resistance. So I didn't totally follow the method of path to success as we all should, because of course you always think, I'm going to add my creativity to it and do things how I want to do.
Everybody loves to reinvent the wheel because we can always do it better.
Yeah. 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 So kind of went through that. And then I just started doing the actual things I did learn from him, reaching out to my sphere, doing it on a scheduled basis, and then finding my home at a smaller brokerage, and really learning from the owner of there about working with investors and developers. And I did the hard things. I door knocked, and I still do. I like it. I like getting in front of people. And I landed my first, 8-unit building. It was a 4-unit, sold it to a developer. He flipped it, and I had an 8-unit building sell my first real full-time year by doing those simple, basic things and actually getting to myself of having a structure. But in the beginning, it was rough waves for me. It wasn't easy. So I had to bear through all of that. But that's something I would definitely tell people, is that you want to have some structure around it. So
Marlena,
structure.
I want to ask
and that's why I kind of was like asking, because you came from you couldn't come from the world of logistics and government, right? And organization and finance and not have structure. But that's a different type of accountable structure because you have people driving you, right? That's why I wanted to separate people. Like, look, you can have the right mindset and understanding about what you're going to do, but until you're ultimately accountable for a party of one, it's very different to understand a calendar, to understand what you have to do on a day-to-day to be responsible to you.
Yeah. Michael Jackson's song, it's hard to look the man in the mirror, right? Yeah. To look yourself in the mirror and make yourself accountable for what you've done or haven't done. How much money you make or don't make is basically all on you. You're not getting a warm W-2 to keep you warm at night. What you bring in and what you go out and kill is what you bring in back to the family. And it's a scary thing, but it's a very exciting thing. And anybody can do it, but you have to just continue going down and believing in yourself. First of all, with mindset. And then second of all, getting up every day and doing the hard things, even though, I like to tell people it's the desperate girlfriend. I've never been the desperate girlfriend when I'm dating in real life, but as a real estate agent starting out, you are the desperate girlfriend. And you must call and cook and clean and want that person's attention until they give it to you. So that's what I tell my team, and I tell them, be the desperate girlfriend. It's okay.
I've heard a lot of things on this
love that
podcast.
analogy.
I don't think I've ever heard the desperate girlfriend. That's awesome. Let me ask you one question, Marlena, is that I always love people's story about the moment that they went all in a transition. So like you had corporate background, government background, and don't get me wrong, with my patience level, I give you kudos for sticking through government bureaucraticness and what that entails for anybody that doesn't understand it. Go have a fun time in DC. But my question is that, like, what was the at home thinking through, and you're like, okay, here's the hammer. Like, okay, I'm done. Like I'm cutting bait with the W-2, the government stuff, the contracting, and I'm going 100%, eat what I kill, build my own business. Like, what was that moment? Because I think those are really like powerful for people. So as they're listening, that there's other people just like you that had this moment of like, either I'm sick of it or I want to bet on myself. Like, what was that moment that you finally said, I'm running?
It was actually, Joe, a culmination of things, I would say. My best friend had been telling me for a while I needed to do it, and because we were dabbling, doing different things together. She's an attorney, so we both were making pretty good money, doing and trying to figure out what to do with our money, right? And the turning point was two things in particular. In my current role, to be honest, as one of the top senior financial analysts for the Department of Homeland Security, they wanted me to do something morally that I just didn't agree with. And I decided, no, I'm not going to do that. That was one. And then two, at the same time, I helped, again, being able to touch somebody physically and see the impact. This lady, she just was a referral. She was moving down here, been through a divorce, didn't think her husband had done most of the things for her. And she just never thought she could do it on her own and have a house for her and her kids. And I was able to help her through that. and she hugged me. And it was like one of the most endearing hugs I've ever experienced in my life. One of those grandma hugs, she just loves you up, and she's crying, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of nasty, lady. Your tears are on my cheek. But, it was a memorable moment nonetheless. And that was ever so changing for me, to have that impact and feel heart to heart, somebody's heartbeat just beating, and that you helped it get there and help them achieve something that they just didn't think they could do themselves. So it was those two turning points that said, this is what I want to do. The third one was I really realized as I was growing my knowledge of financial wealth that real estate is it. Real estate is really the avenue to help build the cash or the assets to be able to borrow against, to be able to do what I saw and heard of people doing that I wanted to do in my wildest dreams. It was the avenue that I knew I could take to get there quickly. So
you referenced earlier the man in the mirror. What do you see in the mirror now?
Oh, deep question, Dave. You guys are getting me today. So I am actually now physically and mentally truly coming into my future self. And I think that is the hardest thing to do. You can have all this knowledge and all this experience, but still be afraid of yourself and how powerful you really are and who you're really supposed to be. And for a while in real estate, even though I did really well in sales and everybody gave me pats on the backs and high fives, I was afraid of myself. And so now I'm not. Now I'm looking at myself in the mirror. Now I'm stepping into that future me, that leader, that person somebody can look up to and say, hey, can you help me? And I can pull them forward. That person that my team can lead on, and somebody that can actually leave that legacy. Even if I only help one or two people, I'm very comfortable with that and comfortable in my own skin of who I am. My tagline is a pit bull in a skirt there, Dave. So, I may be pretty, but I do bite a little bit.
So I see you have no trouble telling your story, which I can really appreciate.
Yes. So that's who I am now. I'm looking in the mirror, not being afraid of the pit bull that I am, but still being nice, professional, and pretty at the same time. All of that encompasses me, who I am. I'm a mom. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm goofy. I love food. I love to travel, and I'm very family oriented. So, and loving all those aspects of my life and being present very much so in all of them when they're there. Realizing that, the balance in life is not being on the teeter-totter and keeping it like this, but sometimes you work more, sometimes it's family more. And as long as you give equal weights at different times, it all balances out. So understanding that and becoming that person.
So let me ask you this question. What makes you different than any other real estate agent in the DMV? What's Marlena's unique value differentiator?
One of my unique value differentiators is that I actually understand the analysis of your profitability on your property. I also have a general contracting license, which most people don't know about me. So I look at homes very differently. Yeah. And so I always tell my clients, because I'm very careful of the laws, I have my realtor hat on today, but I can still look at things and tell you certain things. So I think my value proposition is that because my background is in finance, I actually can calculate the numbers much quickly and understand them and explain them to clients, as well as bring that contractor eye to their transaction, especially in our area with a lot of renovated homes. People don't want to get caught buying the lipstick on the pig type of home. We need to make sure that we're protecting them from that. So, so I think that's what makes me very much different. And my founding principle, my company is named after my Grandma Mascotti. And I really take her disciplines to heart. I would never sell anybody anything I wouldn't live in myself, or give you advice I wouldn't take myself. And so I follow my grandmother's rules, and that has been my guiding light. Got to have granny right there behind you, If you had a nice granny. Some people don't have nice grannies. I did.
So let's go into this part, right? So you talked about your professional journey and going from corporate into betting on yourself, going through real estate, and you went through the challenges of losing your shirt with real estate, so you never make that mistake again. You have your guiding principles. You have basically a lot of values that you hold dear to your heart, and that's how you kind of bleed over to your team. So let's do this. What are the metrics for Mascotti and Company right now? Like, what's your team size, units, volume, and then because I want people to hear like what you've accomplished, and then talk like through what got you there, and then like going into the future where you're trying to go with your business. Because I think it helps a lot of people that are entrepreneurs hear other people's stories and journey about how they got where they're going and where they're trying to go as well.
All right, cool. So I'm number 158 out of 22,000 realtors in the area for the Washington metro area of DC real producers. And my goal is to get in the top 100, top 75 next year. We are a team of 5 agents with 3 back office staff, marketing manager, client care coordinator, and then a inside sales agent. And then I have a lead specialist, buyer advisor, and then I have buyer agents after that. I'm currently the listing specialist on the team, and I hope to transition that. Last year we did 40 million in sales. This year we're going to 10x it. We're just going all the way for 100. Trying to get to 100 million. That is our goal. We're working very hard, and I've broken that out, and I'm actually starting to accomplish it. I want people to know that truly what you start to think, say, and believe will become. I said I wanted to do 5 million in commercial this year. I already have a 2.8 million 14 unit building in Southeast DC. What you start to put out and talk about, you start to attract. So I've divided that out, that my bread and butter will be 50 million. We're going to do about 20 to 25 with investors and developers. And then we're going to do another 5 in commercial, and then we have property management as well. So those are our metrics and numbers. We're not a big team, but that's because I'm very, very particular. I believe in culture, and I know that that's important for somebody partnering with my team, that my culture fits theirs as well as we fit them. One thing that's unique about my team that I've been hearing is I do let my team interview the agents or anybody, and they get a vote, because if we're going to be a team, there is no I, but there is me. And so we have to operate together and still see each person. And that's something I learned from playing basketball and sports, right? We all individually, collectively work together. So we are a small team, but we believe in movements and not monuments. So we want to have our movement and grow that movement in our following. But I have serviced over, my average sales price is about $649 on the sell side, about $550 on the buy side. I'm 55% in DC. 35% in Maryland, about 15% in Virginia. But I am licensed in all 3 states.
You know what I love about that? I'm sorry. Finish. You
no, go ahead.
I was saying what I love about that synopsis right there was you knew your numbers. You knew all of your numbers, not just average sales price, production, units, total volume. Although I'm going to question the math of 10xing 40 million to 100. But, I'm not a math major. It's okay. But when I hear about 158 and 55% and where I am and what are my dynamics and diversification into PPM, right? Diversification into commercial, but you continue to grow, but you know which levers to pull because you know your numbers.
Yeah, and then she also has the tactic of survival, like kind of like Survivor. Hey, the team's going to vote you off the island, which I can appreciate.
Yes, I definitely have that. You are the weakest link. You must leave. But yeah, I say 10 exit, but it's really, we want to get to 100 million. You're right on the map.
They heard it first on this podcast. Marlena's going to go out and do 400 million. So everybody get the hell out of her way.
Well, who's going to question her? Not me. I'm just saying, I believe you.
I will get there one day. Give me a couple more years, I'll be there. But this year, we're just going to try to get to the 100.
Well, here's the motivation. I guess we'll start on this podcast. Marlena, I don't think you can do 400 million. And I don't think Dave can do 400 million. So we're just starting there.
That gets me.
Oh, my goodness.
Now I have to do it. And when I do it, Dave, we're going to get him back on this podcast. And we're just going to hold 400 million swirling over his head, okay?
I have no doubts. I am a believer. I'm aligned with this train.
And Dave, and then tell Joe when I get the 400 million, I'm gonna let him borrow some so he can buy some Kelly. Some Kelly coin. You gonna get some Kelly coin, Joe? he knows what that means. Kelly said she was going to start. We had this whole discussion on Bitcoin, and Kelly said that she was going to start Kelly coin.
All right.
So we always mess with Joe about buying Kelly coin.
Kelly coin. Can I get on the ground floor of that? I'll get you some.
Oh man, I'm dying.
So I have something really important to ask. Okay, so we're talking.
Sure.
So we're going to go Survivor, and you're a foodie. So if you were on Survivor on the island, what is the one food that would prevent you saying, I can't go be on Survivor because I can't have this food? Right? You said you're a foodie, so there's got to be something that it's right in your wheelhouse. Like, it's a got to have it. I can't give it up.
That's funny. I really love sushi. So they said I could, but you could probably get that on Survivor.
I was going to say,
I don't know. I guess like French. Yeah, I guess French fries, because that's something you can't. I don't know if you can make that on Survivor because frying and you need potatoes. So I really love French fries. I love the truffle fries. I've even been to Amsterdam and tasted all the sauces, so I couldn't taste anymore in my mouth. So I guess I would say French fries because you can't really make that on Survivor. But I guess sushi you could chop it up.
You got to go to
fish,
Canada
right?
and get some fried poutine.
Yeah. But I've even eaten, in China, because I stayed there for a while, a Chinese treat, it's encrusted like bug. I think mine was a cockroach. So, I could survive pretty well.
All right. So not only is she going to make $400 million, she's coming up next on the next episode of Survivor.
I'm already in real estate Survivor, right? So, no. So, yeah, what would you not want to survive without, Dave?
That's a good question. Can I say vanilla wafers?
Vanilla wafers. Joe, do you have something?
I just want to flag for everybody, the Philly guy did not say cheesesteaks. So just say
well, I don't live in Philly, so I've already given up cheesesteaks, and I've succumbed to that there's steak and cheese down here, and I'll just be okay with that.
No, I get it. I get it. You graduated up and you don't go backwards, so that's good. No, I think like if I was to say any type of food, the one thing, but I don't eat it that much, would be veal parm is probably like my go-to favorite. Like if I see a veal chop or a veal parm on a menu, I'll probably go to that no matter what, because I don't see veal on a lot of menus, and it's probably my favorite. And I feel bad for anybody. I understand it's a small version of a cow. I get it. And yep. So if I offend anybody, I apologize, but I do enjoy red meat. So there's that. So I would go there.
I do too. Most people haven't had bison, but I've had that because I'm from Colorado. So, and it's very tasty. Very. So I'm a red meater too. Sorry for all of those that don't.
I've had bison. The weirdest thing I've had was ostrich.
I had that too. Yeah.
There was an ostrich.
Actually, ostriches are not friendly. I didn't feel bad.
Yeah.
It's like an 8-foot chicken. Sorry, I digress.
Very nice. He said, "I digress." Yes, but they're not nice though. I got chased by one in South Africa. I got out and I got too close and I clicked the camera and it flashed and that thing ran, man, and then rammed his head into the truck. It was out of control. And then we had some later, and I was like, "Oh, I hope it was that one that chased me." But it's
so.
Yeah.
As we this was fun. I'm enjoying. She's getting back on the repeat list. Okay, so you're be coming back, and you know what? I will let you back, and I won't wait till 400 million. We'll bring you back when you hit 200 million. I think that's fair. Okay. So,
sounds great.
But if you were to leave, like parting advice, one last thing, if you were to share everything, if there's the last thing you were going to say to any realtor that you wanted them to have, what would that be?
Schedule. The more, I know it sounds crazy, but the more you are scheduled, the more free time you actually have. Second thing, he only told me one, but I'm going to add two because it's just my personality. Second thing is get into financial management of your money early. Find a good bookkeeper. find a good accountant, a good tax advisor. Those are things that I think we all get into business, companies start making a lot of money and fall into those pitfalls. Definitely I did, raise my hand of not knowing the right triggers to pull and when I was supposed to be an LLC versus an S Corp. And then you end up paying Uncle Sam and other places that you had not wished you had to spend your money on. So those would be my two things. Schedule and have your team of people, just like you get a team of people for your clients with home inspectors and title companies and lenders. You should have your team of people helping you run your business.
That's solid right there. That is solid, sound advice. I hope everybody takes that to heart and takes action. If you don't have a person, you need a person. Love it.
Yeah. Definitely get a coach too. You need somebody, as you said, in corporate world, right? Keeping you accountable. And it helps. And make sure you build up to that level. But once you get there, definitely get one. It's just things that they help you think of and do that you wouldn't think of yourself. So it's another part of your team.
Listen, I really appreciate your time here with us today. And I can't thank you enough because I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. And for everybody at home, bookmark this episode and listen to it again. And for Joe Martin, this is Dave Donaldson and our guest, Marlena McWilliams. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Entrepreneurial Impact.